Hello everyone, new day, new stream, as usual, going on. Okay, and today I'm gonna share with you my 10 best moves, the 10 best moves that I chose of 2020 as the best ones that I made, although there were not that many tournaments, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, offline that I played. Actually, I think it was one of the years where I played the least games. So, nevertheless, there were some games, and actually I made a mistake when calculating and saying about this number in the first day of this year. In fact, I played 42, and actually I scored very badly. I scored just 50%. They were difficult tournaments, I must say, and well, I mean, that's how it went. Despite this fact, I managed to play some nice games, which I'm gonna share with you. I mean, the moves that I made. Okay. The first tournament, the first game was from the Gibraltar Open that I played, and I regretted going there so much after this tournament. I don't know why, but somehow my Gibraltar tournaments they don't go well. They just don't go well, and usually it starts. Oops, what's going on? It starts. Something's going on with my camera. Okay, let me. Hey, doesn't want to go. Hey, okay, we'll ask her to go. Okay, well, it started badly. And somehow I wasn't able to recover after the defeat in the first round. What's going on? Why it doesn't want to go? Okay. And I finished, I think, the tournament on the 50% note, on the 50% score. Okay. Да, вебка не слушается сегодня. Anyway, let's let's work with what we have. That's the game. My best move, number one, best move of the year 2020. I was playing black. It was not like a tremendous game, and actually I played very badly, and my opponent outplayed me. But the moves that I made here in this position, I liked it very much. It's nothing special, but somehow aesthetically I enjoy it. So here we go, January 2020. First move that I can name as the move of the year. It's black to move. If you gonna see this stream in not live like it's going on right now, but in recording, you are always welcome to stop this video, pause it for a while, and then try to solve it. But since now we are not going to stay here for like a very, very long time, I will wait for the first proposal from you. Any ideas? Well, white just played queen to b6 and offered the queen's exchange, which is quite a good idea, I must say, because because she has an extra exchange. White has an extra exchange, and as we know, if you have extra material, exchanging pieces and queens are usually advised. And that's why, of course, I should not exchange the queens. Yes, I sacrifice the exchange in this game. Well, yes, it's winning a pawn, but the problem is that if we, doesn't matter if we take, for example, here, white gonna take here, and rook takes b7, just winning the game for white. Same gonna happen if we take on b6. Well, I mean, this one, of course, taking on b6 and taking on d4 is better than taking on d4 first, because at least I'm not losing the pawn on b7 immediately. But the problem is that the position is still very unpleasant. I might hold. I might be able to save this game. But of course, no chances to win it, I think. And because of this pin, white can make some moves like bishop e4 or even a5 first, not retreating the rook just yet. So no, I didn't take on b6, although, I mean, it was possible, but I think I made a stronger and definitely a much more, a nicer looking move. And that was the move. Here should come the drum sound. That was the move queen to h8. So I'm moving my queen out of this exchange proposal. I still have in mind this winning the pawn on d4 in the near future. And as it often happens, if you manage to find a strong move in your game, your opponent often makes not a good move in return. I don't know why, but that's how things work often in chess. If you play strongly, your opponent cannot always find the strongest moves in return. And my opponent just blundered actually here. She just played queen to c5 and yes, blundered the exchange back. And after bishop f8, bishop takes b4, I had turned tables around and won this game quite easily, because I have 2 extra pawns right now, a very beautiful knight on d4, and it was not very difficult to finish this game a few moves later. Your proposal of queen to b8, well, I mean, queen to b8, you can, well, first of all, it's a blunder, because you can just, white can just take on c6. I mean, queen to e7 can also be considered, but the problem is that after queen to e7, I'm not threatening to take on d4. And white can just play a5, because actually it's her idea to play a5, a6, ruin my queen side, and grab both pawns and try to use an extra exchange. So no, queen to e7, queen to b8, queen to f6 once was proposed, but again, queen to f6, a5 is a very strong move, and if a black takes here, there is a very beautiful line that is not very obvious. White sacrifices the exchange back and take on b7, and because of this very strong a pawn, white is just winning the game, although it's not that clear from far away that the pawn is so strong that it cannot be stopped with the queen and the bishop. The problem is that the queen here is not only supporting her pawn, but also attacking the king side, and the king is very weak. Yes, and even though black is able to stop the a pawn, nothing can stop white from taking all the pawns that are here on the white squares. So the right move here is queen to h8, because, well, it's not winning at all, but at least it somehow, it looks strong, it feels strong, and the only move that keeps balance here for white is queen to a7, with the idea to, if I take here, to sacrifice the exchange. Oops, with this rook, of course. And then take on b7, and we get to this position where this a pawn is still very strong, and I am the one who needs to make a draw. So rook takes b7 is a mistake. I need to play queen b6, and the game could have ended with a very nice perpetual, like this. Very nice one. Yes, somehow the queen and knight managed to give a perpetual. So that's the first best move of 2020, and the photos that you see on the screen is also from Gibraltar. One of the few good moments during this tournament when we took a bye. It's possible to take a bye there, similar to American Opens. And we went, my husband and I, we went to the top of the Gibraltar Rock to meet the monkeys. And of course, I took hundreds of very nice photos. If you follow my Instagram, you might remember. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next game and next move. Well, that's gonna be a little bit easier for you. First of all, you might have seen it. Second, there are, I think, at least 3 moves for black that lead to a winning position. I mean, the position is already winning, like just to winning the game. It's black to move, and while I'm showing you the photos of this tournament and telling you about it, how it went, you can suggest some moves that you like here for black. It was a tournament, the position, the game is from the tournament in February 2020 in St. Louis. And I was very happy that I got there, because unfortunately my rating went down in the last month, especially Gibraltar, and Cairns Cup is a tournament where just like the top female players are invited, and also since we have already 2 Russian players invited to this tournament. I mean, the organizers, they try to invite players from different countries, not more than usually not more than 2 from one country. But somehow one of the participants didn't get a US visa, and the organizers invited me in the very last moment when the field was already announced, had been announced. And yes, and actually I found out about it just before going to Gibraltar, and somehow went to Gibraltar anyway. And I already said how I played there, but in St. Louis there was another story. Somehow I enjoyed this place very much, and enjoyed coming there every time. And in St. Louis in 2019 I played very well and took the 2nd place, just because Valentina Gunina was winning almost everything. And in St. Louis this year, well, I still had 3 losses throughout the tournament, but I won also. some very nice games, and one of them was against Karisayep. In this position, as I mentioned before, I'm winning. There are several moves to finish the game, and I chose the ones that I like the most. I see that many of you proposing the move rook to c1, which is also a very strong move, distracting the queen, deflecting it from the g2 square. And yeah, the most important thing is the fact that black's bishop is keeping this a8 square under control. That's certainly the thing to say and to highlight about this position, because otherwise rook a8 would have been a very unfortunate move for black. But in this case, yes, the square on a8 is protected, the queen on f1 is under attack, and in case of queen takes c1, queen takes g2, checkmate will follow. If white takes on d4, it's probably the strongest move here, but it's not enough to save the game, because my pawn on d3 is very strong, and the king at the same time is quite weak, and white just cannot save the game. Although it will require a few more accurate moves from black side. Well, I can play even d2, I think, and win the bishop here. But I finished the game faster. Again, it's a question what is more beautiful, rook c1 or the move I played. Bishop takes f2 does not work. It's not the winning move. This one is not right, because white is taking with the rook, and actually there is no winning continuation for black, because if I want to prepare, for example, the pawn to move, I should remember about the pawn on the e file, white's pawn on e file that is still alive, and it's not winning. Bishop takes f2, but bishop takes g2 is very strong indeed, and it is the strongest move in this position. It's checkmating white very fast. My opponent, I believe, resigned here. The key is that after queen takes g2, rook c1 is a checkmate. Suddenly I have two pins here, and even though it seems that one of these pieces should be able to protect the king, no, the bishop is pinned, the queen is pinned, and thus rook c1 is a checkmate. And if white takes the bishop, yeah, the queen cannot be taken because, again, of this pin. It's a very good example on pins. But then I'll just take on f1, and well, rook c1, checkmate is coming again. So that's how the game ended, with bishop takes g2. And one more photo from St. Louis that I want to show you. Yeah, the famous arch. Yes, I think that's beautiful. That's why I named this move one of the best moves, one of my best moves of 2020. And let's carry on. Then comes another sad story of my chess life in 2020, and the Grand Prix in Lausanne. Unfortunately, I completely ruined this tournament, and it's very, very sad. I want to replay it so much, but I mean, I managed to win. How many games I won? 2, I think, games. I don't want to say how many games I lost over there, but probably I just didn't have. Somehow it didn't start well. Again, I wasn't able to recover from a bad start, and I just kept losing and losing, just giving away points in very good positions, and it's very unfortunate that I played so badly in Lausanne. I managed to find myself a little bit closer to the finish of this tournament, but because of this complete disaster at the beginning of this Grand Prix, yeah, I just lost. What can I do? So many games. Anyway, that's one of the highlights of the of that tournament. It's black to move. I was playing against the legendary Pia Kramling, and I played badly in the opening. I got a bad position from the start, but I managed to hold, managed to equalize, and I even managed to get a small advantage in the end game. But Pia defended well, and it was close to a draw, very close to a draw. But in the second time control, I mean the second set knot, she made a few mistakes, and it's already moved 90, and somehow we reach this position. And it's black to move. It's an easy position, it's an easy move, but I decided to name it one of my best moves of 2020 anyway, since I had to choose something from from this Grand Prix in Lausanne, just because there were not enough tournaments otherwise, over the board tournaments. Any ideas how I won this game? Waiting for your proposals. Well, bishop a3 is not really the right move to proceed, because I can even retreat my bishop somewhere to h8, g7, f6. You don't threaten to cover this diagonal because the pawn, the square on b2 is protected. So it will be a draw. Bishop c3, yes, that's a move to consider definitely, but the problem is that after bishop c3, white makes a draw, even was immediately taken on a2, and this well, it's probably better to play king g5, although it doesn't matter here, but like more technical. Yes, when you push the pawn forward when playing with one pawn against a rook, you should make sure that moves such rook c5 will not win the game. But in this case, it's draw, and yeah, and the game just ends in draw because my king is just too far away. So no, not bishop c3. Not bishop c3, not bishop a3. Yes, that's right. Actually, it's rook. It's rook on c2. And suddenly, white realizes that after exchanging the rooks and retreating the bishop somewhere, I just cover this diagonal. And unfortunately, let me show you one beautiful line. I mean, I can play here a1 queen, but I can also play queen, and it's like a study-like variation. But of course, I mean, this beauty, it's not necessary. I can just promote my pawn and win this game as well. So a very easy move, but a nice one to make on the 91st as the 91st move. It was a long game, and since I wasn't winning that many games during this tournament, I think it was just my second game with already 5 or 6 losses. It was a little bit, I mean, a small relief, if I can say so. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. And my next game is, here comes online tournaments. Because after the Grand Prix in Lausanne, well, many countries had shut down, and including Russia, for several months, and we were all sitting home playing chess online, watching chess online, and I was no exception. I was in Moscow from the mid of March till the mid of June. 3 very nice, not so long months. Actually, I had been dreaming of making such a stop for such a long time, and suddenly 2020 helped me so much just to make the stop and to be to stay home and not just to enjoy this time home and make a stop in traveling, constant traveling. There have been so much traveling in the last years. And from the mid of March, so I was enjoying myself at home. I was after Lausanne, of course, I had a huge motivation to work on chess, to study chess. So like the first 2 months, I think I worked non-stop. But in May, I wasn't invited to play in the Russian national team in the Nations Cup, because there are so many great girls in the Russian national team, and only 2 players were presented in there. So I was invited actually to commentate for Chess.com.ru, and that was my like big debut in the commenting and in this field, and I think it went pretty well. I was commentating with Vladimir Fedoseev, and well, unfortunately the Russian national team didn't play well, but I enjoyed this experience very much. And also I started to play, of course, in online tournaments such as Title Tuesday, and also in some tournaments with in rapid online tournaments. Not so many, although, because for me it's very difficult to focus on longer games, on games with longer controls when playing online. And one of these games, one of these tournaments that I played with rapid time control, was the European Online Championship. I think that was held on chess.com as well. There were 2 days to play. The first one I played very badly. I lost, I think, most of my games, but in the second day I did well, and that one of my victories against a very strong grandmaster from Sweden. I was playing black, and I see that many of you already yes, Niels Grandelius. 2 of you already proposed the right continuation. Three good proposals, and it's knight to f4. Actually, when I gave this position some players to solve, they tried to trap this queen by playing queen g7, f5, all the moves, but yes, it doesn't work, and knight f4 indeed is a very strong move. Another similar idea is knight e3, but it's not that strong because white have some intermediate moves, I believe, such as knight e5 and then take on e3. So knight f4 is definitely the move to make here. and it's an exchange, but it allows me to open up the G file to ruin the king's shield and get position with a very big advantage. And I managed to win quite easily. Here actually it's a threat. Rook g1 is threatening with a checkmate. For example, let me show you, because it's a very beautiful example on pins. It's a pin, this one is a pin, and the rook is supporting the queen. It's a checkmate. But in the game I managed to win the queen, so like queen g7 is a double attack, we can say. Rook g1 and rook h6 is threatening after that. And yes, that's how the game ended. Was another double attack. I think it's a nice game for a rapid online game. And we go next, and again a few online games from the online Olympiad that took place also on chess.com in August, and I managed to play for the Russian national team. It was a very nice tournament for our team. For myself, there were some ups and downs. I played badly one day out of how many we played. I don't remember how many we played in total. 4 or 5, I don't remember. But what was important in the crucial moments, I played well, and that's what counts. I mean, I lost one game. I think it didn't really. My team didn't really care about this result very much, because it was the least important match, and which I managed to lose though. But other teams of my other members of my team, I think they all won, so my loss was not a big deal. But in this game, it was quite an important match with the Hungarian team. Again, I made a very strong move that somehow it doesn't, I think, come to your mind immediately. But since when we look at this position, we want, of course, to play d4. But we notice that the bishop on b7 is not protected. Somehow, the idea to protect this bishop gives can give us a hint on what move is the strongest one. And when I saw this move, I felt that yes, that's the one you should make. Any suggestions from you guys? Well, rook e4, I don't know why people like to give away the material so much. Actually, you're not the first one to propose this move. Already this move once has been proposed to me by... But I mean, you just give away the exchange. Yes, first of all, I can take on f6, and if we exchange the queens, then you're just down the exchange. I mean, yeah, sacrificing is nice, but it's not always necessary. Actually, it's necessary only... there are not so many situations where we need to give away the material. Yes, there are, and when we are solving this puzzle rush, we feel like it's all the time, but it's not that. We should care about our material. Queen c8 probably is the right... I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but it's not the correct one because of bishop f5. It just gives white an extra possibility. But I see that many of you already spot the strongest move here, which is queen to a8. And suddenly the position, white's position, is like very unpleasant. this battery. Yes, I know usually battery is all the way around with the queen and then the bishop, but in this case, if you remember the first games that I showed, there was queen h8 and similar battery. Now it's queen a8, also the bishop and the queen battery, but it's strong. It's very strong. The d4 threat is very annoying, and it's coming. White actually has nothing to do. Probably the strongest move was knight to c5, but then I will play d4 at some point anyway. I don't know, here or after g5. Still, White's position is not that pleasant, although there are still some questions to ask. My opponent took on f6, which is a very bad move. Again, you should not really give away your bishops for knights just like this with no reason. And after queen to g4, suddenly the queen got trapped, or almost trapped. White played queen to g3, but then again, too many pieces and pawns that I took and won this game quite easily after that. So that was one of the games that I enjoyed very much in the online Olympiad, and the other one, well, it's an easy move, but a very beautiful one nevertheless. White to move. It's an endgame, and there are not so many pieces left on the board, so I think you will easily find the right one. Yes, good, Orient Belt. Managed to spot it in the very first second of seeing this position. Actually, I got lucky. It was a crucial match against the US team that was performing very well. I think it was semifinals. And in order to get to the finals, we needed to win this match. And I think we had an even score on all the boards except this one. But it looked actually as the game was heading to a draw, because I mean, in the beginning of the game I had an opportunity to win. I will try to recall exactly where. Somewhere here. And actually I saw this continuation. I was able to play rook takes e7, bishop to e2, and I saw that I can win the knight. But during the game I didn't really understand. I mean, I calculated this line for a long time during the game. I calculated till queen e4, and somehow I decided that I cannot go to this position because I just didn't believe that king g3 is winning the game. I mean, after queen e4 check, I stopped calculating this line, thinking that it's too dangerous to go for it. And I played knight to f5, and my opponent managed to equalize the position, and then we reached this endgame, where she, of course, should have played knight to g6. Not knight to f7 though, because knight to f7 and f4, I still have some chances to get a better endgame, although it might be a draw here. But she played king to e5. That's a huge blunder, which let me win this game and the match. I played bishop h5, of course, closing the door for this knight, and the endgame is won quite easily. Just too many things for black's king to hold: the f pawn, the d pawn, the b pawn. So little by little I'm just winning it Here I could have just played king to d4, but I played b5. It doesn't really change a lot, and my opponent just resigned. Yes, but when you're playing a game, especially for the team, and you see this line where your king is marching up the chessboard, you are not so sure that the king is a good attacking piece. Yeah, so let's get going. What's next? And next comes the super final, the over the board tournament number 4 that I played in Moscow last month. It was a very strange feeling to play over the board. We are so used nowadays to online events that they need to go and somewhere to move these wooden pieces to play with a mask and with this glass shield. All felt a little bit weird, but we were playing in a very beautiful place in the central chess house in Moscow. It's been renovated, redecorated, everything, and it's like very beautiful, and I enjoyed every moment of going there and playing there, despite the fact that, again, somehow I should work on the start of the tournament. All the tournaments that I played, well, except St. Louis, just started so badly at the beginning. Just collapsed there. I don't know, somehow it's very difficult. It's getting difficult for me to get into this playing and tournament mode. And this tournament was no exception. I started with -2. I made a draw, a very nice draw against Alina Kashlinska in the first round, but then I didn't even lose. I gave away 2 points against Alisa Galyamova and against Polina Shuvalova. And yes, I found myself again in this very unfortunate situation on -2 with the whole tournament still ahead of me. But somehow, yes, I managed, in this particular case, I managed to relax, regroup, and refocus. I don't know, somehow find the right mood for the tournament. По-русски, плиз, в другой раз. Это английский стрим, так что по-русски. Не в этот раз. Well, of course, the virus. I mean, these shields, I don't know if they're helping or not, but we're not talking about COVID requirements nowadays to hold chess tournaments, so let's just focus on chess. I think there have been enough talk about COVID in our lives. It's black to move. It's black to move. White just played rook d to c1. Actually, I had a very good position in this game, almost a winning position, but blundered a few moves ago. Here, it was my turn to move, and I should have played c3. Probably that was the easiest way. Knight c3, queen e8, and my position is almost winning. Bishop takes f2 is a threat. Bishop takes c3 is a threat. And actually that's it. That was winning the game very easily with no no stress involved. After rook e1, rook takes f2 is possible. Then this checkmate is coming in case after rook takes e8. But I somehow missed white's reply, which is bishop e3 here. For some reason I calculated only knight takes d4, and I liked my position after knight d4. That was my idea. The evaluation of this line was correct, but unfortunately after bishop e3, I realized that something is not going my way at all. I managed to find the line which I went, Well, here white should have taken with the queen, but it seems that I mean, I was lucky that after bishop takes d4, it feels like as white is winning, and my opponent thought that she's winning here, but she missed my move, my next move. She missed my next move. Any ideas how I played? That's a difficult one. Yes, I must agree. It is. But the most difficult part was to foresee it in advance, because I went to this line. So I saw this move after bishop e3. I calculated for, I mean, whatever I had left on my clock, and I went for this line, and of course I saw already the move that I was going to make here. Well, the rook on b2 is under attack, so you cannot just play queen a5 or any other moves. Rook b4 is not working as well because of well, I mean, it's working, but it's getting me to a very unpleasant endgame with the pawn down. And the only move that gives me some chances even to win is the move. No, rook b1 is not good, it's not enough. Rook to b1, white just takes. And again, I'm a pawn down. Two strong bishops. Very unpleasant position. Now here is the only move that black should make. But the problem is even just to think about it, because it's not that obvious. And this is the move g5. I managed to make this move, to find this move, to spot it. And white should have played queen to g4. I also saw it, and she should have sacrificed the queen. And this position is absolutely unclear. I don't know how the game would have ended if my opponent would play queen to g4, but luckily for me, she was so shocked when this move appeared on the board that she took on f6. She saw queen to g4, but she thought that just bishop to c8 will follow, and she didn't really understand that after the queen's exchange, thanks to her two strong bishops and my weakened king, her position is not that bad at all. Probably it's about equal. And after bishop takes f6 is just lost, because I managed to save my pawn on c2. White doesn't manage to win it, because the rook is under attack after rook takes c2. And my plan is very simple, just to prepare its promotion, the pawn's promotion. Little by little, I just exchange one pair of rook, then another one, and just winning the game. And that's how it ended. There is no way to protect from rook b1. So yeah, g5 definitely is one of the highlights of my year. Let's get going. I have, I think, 3 more positions that I prepared. This one is against Valentina Gunina. Well, I don't consider this move to be a very difficult one, but since I haven't played so many games and it was very hard to choose which moves to get to the top 10, I decided to pick this game as well, because it was a very important game for me in the tournament. Well, all games against Valentina are very difficult ones, and a win against her gives usually a big emotional boost. It was a very complex Catalan game where Valentina sacrificed a piece, her knight. If you look at the computer evaluations, of course, you would say that it was a bad sacrifice, but since we're all human beings and we're playing human chess, it was a crazy one. But in this position, the moves that I made is quite easy to find, but nevertheless, it's very strong. Yes, Valentina knows what this Tal sacrifice means. So, any suggestions here from my viewers? Yes, good. I didn't say that it should be a sacrifice, but f4 is definitely the move to make. I want to win this pawn very much, and we should see that rook to f8 does not work, and because of bishop h6. And actually f4 is not only like the attacking move to open up the king, to open up the bishop, and etc., but also a prophylactical move in terms of closing this bishop, cutting it off the h6 square. And after f4 and exchanging the bishops, or I mean, if white could have taken on f4 with the pawn, but then rook f8 will follow anyway. I'm winning this very important pawn on f6, and in the game I managed to play very well in the time trouble, didn't spoil anything, and actually here was the key moment where already like with seconds on the clock I managed to find a very strong move, which helped me to win the game. The position is better, but still need to play good moves because it's so chaotic. Knight to b3 I played. Very nice positional move. The knight was on the rim is dim, we know that. The knight is the only piece in this situation that stays placed badly. So knight to b3, the key move in this position. Here I should have played king g5, but somehow I didn't notice king h6 move, winning the game. I played king to e5, it doesn't spoil anything, and I managed to win the game anyway. With a checkmate, by the way. Well, almost. Valentina resigned because of the king e1, rook g1. Checkmate will follow. Okay, then my best move, number 9 of the year. Black to move. It was a very solid game with Natalia until she led my rook to the second rank, and that gave me some chances which I managed to use in the time trouble. Well, this move is a very difficult one also to spot, to notice, and to understand that it should be made. The d5 move and the 3 attack, it seems, and it seems that this square is protected so much, but nevertheless it works because after bishop takes d5 I can give a check, and again the pin lets me win the piece. In case of c takes d5, again this check is very annoying and the rook is not protected. And in case of c5, I could win this pawn like this, and I have a much better endgame. I'm not sure if it's won or not, but it's very close to winning because of this pawn, two strong pawns, and because of the fact that white pawn sooner or later will be lost. Natalia played rook 1 to c2, and here, luckily for me, I managed to stop and not to play rook takes c2 instantly, because that was my first intention, winning the pawn, but I doubt that it's winning the game. It's probably white will manage to save, but here I made another very nice move, which let me win this game. And that shows how important it is to stop before making every single move if you have time. Yes, and that is the move d takes c4. Very beautiful move. Just taking the pawn, because rook takes b2 will lead to a checkmate. No, not to a checkmate, no, sorry, not to a checkmate, but to winning back the rook, and thus leaving black with an extra piece. Well, and since rook d8 is a threat, the only other moves that white has is e4, but here I'm grabbing another pawn, and I have two extra connected pawns, which are quite easy to push forward. And that's how the game ended. Very unexpected, I must say. A very unexpected win, and yes, I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed because it's very important. Sometimes, I mean, you just show this beautiful move, but your work that made you find it, it's another story, because if we get it back a little bit, when I reached this position, I felt that I might have some chances, and I was calculating all the lines connected with rook f2 and rook a4 and rook b2, and I was trying to choose and understand which move is better. And then, like a few minutes later, I spotted this idea with d5. It was already not very easy to spot. And so after rook b2, I spotted the idea already here. I spotted this move that d5 actually exists here. But I saw that white can play c5. And then I realized that actually, if I play rook b2 and white replies b5, I can only then play d5. And here I already explained that after c5, the pawn on c5 is not protected, so I can play rook d2 and b takes c5, winning this pawn. And I was very happy when I spotted this idea. I was not sure whether I need to play rook f2 first, pushing the bishop to h1 and then rook b2, but I decided that it's very complex and no really need to add anything else, and thus I played rook b2. And yes, and here, as I already said, I was very fortunate not to play rook takes c2 faster, because it took me some time to notice d takes c4. I didn't spot it immediately. Yeah, so that's the consequences of moves I really enjoyed. And here comes the last game that I'm going to discuss today. It's also an online game, the game from the European Online Club Cup that I played for the French team of Clichy Échec. Unfortunately, I didn't play well enough. I wasn't able to help my team. Probably I just didn't have enough power from after the Russian Super Final, because it started like the day after or a few days after. Just didn't have time to recover and to recharge my batteries. Maybe not enough sleep. Yes, maybe that's the point. I was playing white in this game, and I managed to get a very good position straight out of the opening, where I played a not so popular line, which caught my opponent by surprise. And she spent almost all her time, which was 15 minutes per the game. And we reached the following position already on move after move 9. So she just played knight to g6. And I do have many good moves here. I do have many strong moves. Yes, bishop g5, knight d5, even short side castle is okay. And I don't see any problems with that. But I think the moves that I made, yes, first of all, it's likely every modern chess player should consider this move in the moves candidates list. That's for sure. And well, I spotted it instantly. It was a rapid game. I think I just spent a few seconds on it, and yes, Benny, that's right. That's actually indeed h4. h4 turns out to be very strong. The knight on g6 is about to be attacked. The pawn might go further up. And it's not so clear what to do with black. I mean, bishop e7, h5, the knight on f8, you can see it yourself. In the game, black played h5, but then after h5, we see that this black square is weakened a lot. It can be used for the knight, for the bishop, and what's more important, the knight on g6 is also weakened. So if we imagine after castle and bishop b3, this pin can start to be very annoying. Bishop g5, bishop e7, and I managed to castle long. It was not, I mean, necessary, but after this moves inclusion, then long side castle does look quite natural. And I think here the easiest way for me to proceed was indeed bishop to b3, attacking the knight, and in case of after king h8, I can just take and play knight g5. That was the easiest way to win this game. Move 15, and I already have a devastating advantage. But I continued to play without thinking. e6. Just completely forgot about the move f5 from black, but managed to win this game anyway, using a very nice maneuver of my rook along the third rank. And that's how the game ended. Well, a very nice game for a rapid online one. I enjoyed it a lot. And that was definitely one of the good games of mine in this competition. While I also had like the worst blunders possible over there, but about these blunders tomorrow, same time, same place, I'm gonna have my 10 worst blunders of 2020 stream, because well, I know it looks so beautiful and I wish I could only make such beautiful moves in my games. Unfortunately, there are bad moves as well, and what's worse, there are blunders as well, and that makes my chess life difficult. But about that tomorrow, we'll discuss what didn't go well. Today I decided to start with what went well. And to finish the stream, I'm gonna do my daily puzzle rush. So in order not to not to do it tonight, because today at 3 p.m. Central European time, I'm gonna comment in Russian on the Chess.com.ru channel the finals of the Air Things Masters. Yes, I think so. Well, I streamed all the puzzle rushes that I did. So let's carry on to the puzzle rush. Here we go. Here we go. Well, I have a New Year's resolution, so I will try. I'm not sure if I'll be capable of doing that, but I want to give it a try to stream my puzzle rush attempts every day of the year. Well, as long as I can keep it on going. So far, so good. We're on the day 3 of the year, and it's my 3rd stream. So I'm doing okay, I think, in terms of consistency. Well, I'm happy if you are here with me. I'm happy if you enjoy the streams. Of course, I appreciate your support, your follows, your subscription. That's really because of you. It's happening because of you. I doubt I would stream without your attention, your support, your comments. That's how these things work. What is an actor without spectators, right? So let's do it. Yesterday, I suffered a lot before getting to 40 in 5 minutes puzzle rush. But since I'm already tired after my 1-hour stream, I'm not sure I'll be able to get to 40 here as well, but I will give it a try. Wait. Okay. Ah, 35. Okay. Not bad. Yeah, that was nice, I think. It was nice. 35. My best. What is my what is my best? Number 3. What is my personal best? Let's see. As you can see, my personal best in 3 minutes puzzle rush is 40, which I managed to do 3 times in my life. But I must say that I'm not doing 3 minutes very often. So yeah, so you see 35 is not even in top 25 on my lifetime experience with this puzzle rushes. Okay, let's get to 5 minutes. 5 minutes personal best. No, it's not that. Okay, let's do 5 minutes and then let's check the leaderboard. I mean my personal best. What am I doing? Where the spawn is going? Why number one is so difficult? Okay. Oi, why didn't I take the rook? Ugh, that's what we call a tilt. Okay. Ah, that was very bad. Okay, you didn't see it. I'm getting there. That's what we call loss of concentration. Oops. Oof, oof, oof. I need to refocus again. Oops. Cut it. Cut this pawn. Okay. I am black. Sometimes it's hard to understand. Yeah. Ay! Oh. Can't see it. E. Here we go. Okay. Wait. Poof. And black. Difficult to understand. Okay. Hi. Rook takes d1 first. Rook takes d1. I could have done 44. Eh. Okay, well, you see, I managed to do 43 this time very fast from my first try, right? Good. What is my... Okay, my top score is 48. I've never done actually 50 in my life. I've never done 50. But 46 and 45, as you can see, I was showing pretty often. Total attempts. Now calculate how many. Date 43, yes, 19, you didn't see it. 9, 1, that was my daughter. we should erase those attempts. That was her trying. Okay, well, that was a good one. Yes, Francesca is destroying my average. But I think today was a nice try, and even though, despite the fact that I have been streaming already for a very long time. Okay, let's do another one, another 50 minutes, and then let's see. What is this? Well, bishop b4 is possible, but it's very difficult for... Yes, I didn't spot something in one move. I know, actually, that was my second try today. The first one I had 19. What's... Oi. Why didn't I take on f2? Who knows? Ah, yeah. No, I'm not doing well today. Instead of queen a2. Okay, well. Да, всем здрасте. Well, today I think... Yes, today I think, well, I'm not gonna blame her all the time, right? Sometimes it's my fault. They memorize? No, I don't memorize. I solve them. I solve them all the time from the very beginning. I'm gonna play 2 games now to finish the stream, so you can use the challenge link to challenge me. Let me see. Just a second. I'm not in the live, in the playing zone, but I'll just go there. I'll just go there. Maybe I should do like this. Yes. Let's see. That's better, I think, for... Okay. So I'm waiting for your challenges. You can go ahead and challenge me. 3-0, yes, but the problem is... well, I also prefer to play with 3+2 or 3+1. The link is working. The link is working if you have a subscription to chess.com. It should work. If you don't have any subscriptions to chess.com, but you are a subscriber to my channel, also let me know your nickname on chess.com so I can challenge you directly. But the link should work, I think. I don't see any reason why it should not work. First ever Blitz tournament, but congratulations. Why it's not so good? It's quite good. It's quite good if you played your first ever Blitz tournament. Well, yes, that's true. If you're just starting playing chess, Blitz can be challenging. It can be challenging indeed, because you just don't have enough time to understand what's going on. And yes, followers. I'm getting more followers. Okay, guys, if there are no challenges from you, subs, I don't have this command. I don't know how to set it up. It would be interesting for me to set it up, actually. But somehow I didn't find a way to make it work. Спасибо большое. Вас тоже с Новым годом. You sent too many challenges to me. Ah, I see actually challenges from you. I see some challenges from you. And yes, so I promised 2, right? 2 games. 2 games. Okay, that's the first one. Here comes the first one. And Dan is not connected. I have bad luck, or my opponents have bad luck today. Nobody wants to play with me. What is this all about, guys? Yeah. Sorry, Andy, didn't work for you. Okay, I wait for a few more seconds and then it's gonna be it for today. I will be back as promised tomorrow with my 10 worst blunder streams. I do accept challenges, but from premium members of chess.com or from my subscribers. Let's play some King's Gambit. What do you say about that? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, everyone can challenge me. I cannot promise that I'm gonna play everyone, but as I said, 2 games, and you can use this challenge link to send the challenge to me. Ah la la la. I think I managed to get a good position out of the King's Gambit. Oops, knight e4. I don't like what I'm doing, but sometimes when I look at my opponent's ratings, and well, for the moment, black is playing well. I mean, I cannot say anything bad about the moves my opponent makes, but somehow it doesn't reflect the rating 959. I have no idea how it's possible to get such a rating with such a play. Okay, a6 is the first like shy move, and the move that I don't really understand, but otherwise sometimes I'm surprised to see such numbers against and actually, yes, that's the reason I play with no increment. Yes. Queen to b5. If I bravely take on c7, what's gonna happen? And I bravely take on e7, and then my position is starting. I start to like my position. Okay, but that was a good game. Definitely up to a certain moment from my for my opponent. And now I'm waiting for the second challenge. Yes, here it comes. That's gonna be a last game for today. Everyone is allowed to have a game. Everyone is allowed. I give the link to everyone, so you can just send me your challenge. Usually, if I say that I'm accepting your challenges, you can try to send me. But for today, it's gonna be the last game, so maybe tomorrow you will be able. You will have more luck in sending me challenges and in me accepting them. Slippery Speedster, yes, I see your challenge, I received it, but as I said, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Well, that's the problem, because if I play one more and then one more again and then one more and then I won't be able to eat, sleep, just play chess. I know that it's not that bad already, right? Why am I complaining? But I think if I said 2, I should stick to this number. And let's hope that tomorrow it's gonna be a little bit more than 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2 more, then 2 more again, and then 2 more. And so on and so on. I should set myself some certain limits. Yeah, or 27 more. Why not? Or to celebrate the new year 2021, right? Actually, how much time would it take to play 2021 games? Super duper. Very, very last one. A lot of time, but how much a lot? Yeah, I saw some streamers doing like 24-hour marathons. Okay, that was an easy one. White didn't pay attention to the central pawns, and it's difficult to play without a center. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for passing by. Thank you for listening to my story of the 10 best games of my 10 best moves of 2020. Tomorrow is gonna be 10 worst blunders of 2020, so make sure to pass by. They say we learn from mistakes more than we learn from defeats more than we learn from victories. I'm not sure about it, but let's see tomorrow. Let's check tomorrow, and I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you to the raid. To Grandmaster Arthur Nakshans. Actually, he is showing his best games of 2020. You will compare, you will see. And I wish you all the best for today. Well, and for 2021 as well. But I hope to see you back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central European time again. And for those of you who speak Russian, для русскоговорящих зрителей, с 17:00 по Москве на chess.ru каналах буду комментировать финал Everything's Masters. Так что, надеюсь, увидимся. Все, всем до встречи, не болейте, играйте в шахматы. Пока!